Hi everyone, Ashley here and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing how to make a sweet retirement card using a lot of different Lawn Fawn products and a fun ink blended background. I made this specifically to look super relaxing because I hope that's what most retirements are. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm starting by actually stamping out all the images, which is something I don't always do. Sometimes I start by the background and then I go into the images, but I don't know about any of you, but I've been finding lately that sometimes I need to let my ink dry a little bit longer than usual, or else it starts to smudge with my markers. I don't know if that's just because of the specific batch of paper I've gotten or ink or something, but I do find that it's definitely helped the issue to just sort of do the stamping first, put it aside to dry, and continue on with the rest of the card before I come back to the coloring. So that's what I've done here. Now, if you do want to see exactly which stamp sets I used for all of my images and stamping, please go down to the description below the video where I've listed out all of the stamp sets I used and you'll see where those images come from. Okay, so I've put those aside to dry and now I'm going on to the background. Here I wanted it to look like a sunset, so I pulled out a red, orange, and yellow color of Distress Oxide ink. The yellow is Fossilized Amber, the orange I believe is Carved Pumpkin, and the red is Barn Door. I'm just using my ink brushes to blend that on, and I started by blending the yellow into a circle, which I'm hoping will look like kind of the sun. Then I'm blending the orange around it, and then I'll blend the red around that. I put the yellow circle, which is meant to be the sun, off to the side a little bit because I knew that I was wanting to put sort of a palm tree into this scene. I wanted the palm tree to be off to the right and then the sun to be off to the left to kind of sort of, I guess, balance the scene a little bit. So that's why I chose to do that. So once that is nicely blended, I'm using some gold watercolor to splatter on just to give a little bit of extra interest and dimension and shine. So I just added that gold watercolor to an acrylic block, and then I can use my paintbrush to splatter it out over the whole panel, and then I can set that aside to dry. Now I'm coming back to the images which have had their time to dry, and I can color in with my Copic markers. I did stamp these out with a Copic friendly ink. I used Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink onto some Neenah Solar White paper, which is very nice for blending Copics. I'm just using my typical Copic coloring technique to color these images in. I am going to go ahead and play some music while I finish all of this coloring. Of course, feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy the coloring. If you don't want to watch the coloring process, however, do feel free also to skip ahead in the video and you'll see the rest of the card coming together soon. Okay, so I've finished with the coloring and cut out the images off camera. Now it's time to start assembling the rest of the card. I'm stamping out the sentiment which says "Have a relaxing retirement" onto a white wavy banner, which I cut out using the Lawn Fawn Wavy Banners die from some white cardstock. And I'm just stamping it in some light blue ink to kind of match the blue of the water on the card. Now I'm going to explain here, I've gone ahead and cut out some pieces to go into this scene off camera. First of all, I've got a white card base, which is just a standard size A2 card, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I used a scalloped rectangle die, which is just slightly smaller than that, and I cut out some Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, which is just that light brown color, and I'm adhering that straight down onto the card base. Then I can adhere my panel, which I cut down to be slightly smaller than that scalloped piece. Then I've got some light sort of turquoise cardstock, which I cut out, and I used a wavy border die from Lawn Fawn to cut the top of that. Then I have a sand piece which I cut out of Lawn Fawn Gold Rush cardstock using a Hillside border die, again to be the same size as that inked panel, and I glued that right on top. So really just layers of cardstock that I've kind of glued together to layer up the scene. Also off camera, I cut out the word cheers using the Scripty Cheers word die from Lawn Fawn, and I used some white cardstock for that too. I just wanted it to stand out against that beautiful inked bold sunset. And finally, I used a Lawn Fawn palm tree die to cut out this palm tree, which, like I mentioned, I'm just putting off to the right in the scene, and I used some green glittery paper for the top and some brown cardstock for the bottom. So now that that's all out of the way, I'm just adhering all of these images together and putting them down onto the card to build the scene. I put that cute little bear and his sunglasses onto the towel, and then I can just glue those straight onto that beach. I can then use some liquid glue to glue down all of the other elements. I've already glued down the palm tree, and now I'm just laying down that coconut drink, the little beach ball, and of course the sunscreen. Is there anybody out there who wouldn't want to be this bear right now with your little coconut drink lying on a beach with the sunset? Oh my goodness. I am getting some serious envy from the scene of my card, which is really weird. Okay, so to finish off the scene, I'm just adding in that sentiment banner. I used some liquid glue behind it, and I'm just sticking it down right into the middle of the sky, right beneath the word cheers. And actually, I hadn't glued down that word cheers yet, so now I'm doing that as well, and just kind of dabbing little spots of liquid glue behind each part of the word. And then I can just stick it down and really hold it down to make sure that each piece is properly stuck before I call it done. Now, I did get a little bit of ink smudged, of course, onto that white cardstock, and whenever that happens to you, I find using a sand eraser helps to kind of just pull up the top layer of that cardstock along with any ink that got smudged on it. Okay, so that is the final card. You can see how I turn it in the light. A lot of that glitter comes through in the background, the palm tree, and then the sand because of that Gold Rush cardstock, which has some gold flecks in it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more of my cards, make sure to head over to my Instagram account, which is linked down in the description below the video. Check out more of my videos on my homepage as well, and do feel free to subscribe if you enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!